Hey there, YouTube. This is Anthony's West Texas Rides coming to you from my garage. Hadn't had a video in a while, hadn't had much opportunity to ride anything new, but wanted to get something out here. So I recently bought me some engine guard chaps to help with the wind deflection for this cold weather riding on my commutes to work. So I ordered me a Airlite set of engine guard chaps. It's a little dark in here, so I apologize for that, but complete chaps that go all the way through. As you can see, I've got the screen there for the radiator so that, you know, it still gets good airflow for the radiator, keeps the engine cool. Goes on real easy. That side slides on, then you come over to this side and you velcro it down here, and then you velcro it on the sides here, and then the same on the other side. You velcro that side once you got it all done. Has room for your highway pegs. Also has an option if you want to put pockets on here if you want. I opted not to do that. But the main reason I'm showing you this video is because originally I had my Denali Sound air horn located right here where the old horn was on a little bracket I'd made. Well, it wasn't the greatest. I had the relay just zip tied right here, looked pretty ugly. And with the engine guard chaps, I could no longer keep that air horn there. So I want to kind of show you what I did for a little bit better mounting, a little cleaner mounting of the process I use to move my air horn over to the left side there. First things I did was when I removed the cover, which is back behind here, and supposedly someone said that cover can cover the air horn. I didn't even attempt it. I was just going to leave mine like this. First thing I did is I have some aluminum stock that I had for another project, and I cut it to size, ground the edges off, smoothed it out, hit it on my sander and scuffed it up, and then painted it black. And then from there I drilled the holes accordingly and attached them into these slots here where the original little pins went from that cover, and then just bolted it onto the back. And with the rubber gaskets, it worked really well. I just recommend make sure you put washers behind that side and that side so that the nuts don't try to squeeze in through those rubber gaskets. And that's the bracket I made to then attach my air horn. And then I drilled a little hole, just a little bit space off. You can kind of do that spacing as you see fit, as you kind of want there. And then the wiring comes in just right there. So this is the location in which I put the air horn. Main thing I want to show you is the wiring. Your original horn plugs are two little plugs that come down with a second wire set down through here and connect down here. Well, I cut the zip ties and pulled that out and rewired that, pulled it up through this area up under here until it came to about right in there, and then I loosened the tank with those two bolts and just lifted it up and pulled it back a little bit, just to give me a little room. I didn't have to remove the tank. And then I shifted the tank toward the left side so I could get access to it. And then I created some wires, which are these wires here that plug into those two plugs. And it doesn't really matter which ones are which, because in the relay switch you could flip them either way, and I'll get more to this in a minute. But I made me some connectors that plug into this relay, and then some connectors that run out to the other side here where the horn is, and then the ground wire that comes up and connects to ground, which I use this as my ground. So for those that are not the most mechanically or electrically inclined, I'll show you kind of what I used. This is all stuff I got from Harbor Freight. This was like $4, I think, or this was $5, this was $6. And get you some wire cutters I've got two different sets here. I preferred using my other one here than this one. But I also have this little tool here from Harbor Freight that'll pinch and grab the wire, and then it'll strip that wire for you real nice and clean, real easy. Get you some little shears to cut your zip ties with. Voltmeter, if you can have one, just to be able to check for places where you may want to connect your ground. And to do that, it's real simple. Just touch your positive lead to the positive part of the battery, and then touch a bolt that you're thinking of using for ground. And if you can touch that with your ground connector off your voltmeter, and if you show 12 volts, then you've got a good ground connection there, and you can use that as a ground source for your electrical unit that you're hooking up. It doesn't necessarily have to be the horn. I've got my stereo hooked up. As you can see, I've got a wire or two down in here. All my previous wiring jobs were a little more southern engineered than this one. This one I actually took the time with the stuff I bought, and the heat sink or the heat shrink tubing and stuff, and really cleaned up all my wires and stuff. But a lot of my connectors that I used were connectors like this, and I use 16 gauge wire just for those who are interested in what I used. Let's see if they're there we go. Connectors like that, and or the male version that plugs into these, depending on what you're connecting to. And then once when I got ready to connect those up, I'd slide some heat shrink tubing on the line first. Make sure you do that before you connect everything up. And once I had it crimped, I would slide that heat shrink tubing up, and I'd use that heat gun there to shrink that tubing up. Like I said, this is that aluminum stock I was talking about that I used for my little bracket I made. But this is all stuff you can buy at Harbor Freight. I just happen to have Christmas gift cards to there because I like my Harbor Freight. What can I say? Anyway, so with the wires to the original horn run up under here, I run it to this relay that you get when you purchase the Denali Sound Bomb, or a Bad Boy or a Wolo horn. They're all the same thing, really, just a different company or label. It's practically the exact same horn. And so, to show you how I wired this up, the switch here on the left, that one right there, is my hotline from battery. And I've got it in a wired fuse with an inline fuse straight to the positive of the battery. The two in the middle are your horn, and it, like I said, it doesn't matter which one's which. That's just your signal. Whenever you hit your horn, it won't matter which one's plugged into which. So I wouldn't get too worried about trying to figure that one out. And then this is your output. Whenever you hit your horn, it closes the circuit and sends a signal from this wire down to the horn. So as you can see there, so these two here in the center come from the original horn wires that I've got, wired up and tied off underneath the engine so it's not touching anything hot and coming down. You got your battery line like I stated, and then you got your hot line that goes to your horn. I ran those lines under here and zip tied them. Went over my fuel line where the petcock is, and then dropped down, as you can see, and then plugged in here and here. Underneath here it says negative and positive, so you'll know the hot line comes into the positive and your negative is your ground. The ground, as you can see, I came in and connected right here. I tested and showed that I had a good ground there, and so I wired that up. Initially, I had this connected underneath that nut or that nut, but this sits so high that when you try to put the seat on, the seat pan is actually sitting on that and hitting it, so I couldn't use that. And so what I'm going to end up doing is tucking it in right down here, and so that the seat can close. The other thing I noticed I did when I did this wire, as I wasn't paying attention, is this was a little bit further over on this round part. That's that rest where your seat pan sits. Right there. And so that wasn't letting me lock my seat either. So just be aware of that whenever you're closing that up. But once you get that done, get all that wired up, you should be good to go. Do a quick demonstration. And the wiring's all nice and neat this time. Didn't look all southern engineered like my original job, so I'm very pleased about that. And just tap the horn. And there you go. That's how I wired mine up. I know there are other methods, and like I said, I know one gentleman on one of my Facebook pages said he put the cover back over that. I'm sure that took a little engineering itself, so I'll leave that to y'all. But if y'all have any questions, feel free to leave a message on the video here and I'll get back to you. I try to check my stuff as much as I can. I don't have a huge channel, so it's fairly easy for me to respond to people. So another thing you can look at doing, if you haven't already, is look at Facebook and go to the V-Star 1300 page. I believe there's V-Star 1300 Tour page. There's the V-Star Riders page, and then there's I think there's two different V-Star 1300 pages besides the Tour. So there's about 4 that I'm a member of. And find a lot of good information. But hopefully this video here helps y'all, for the people who are wanting to kind of upgrade their horn and figure out what they want to do. And get a little better sound for whenever someone cuts you off. You want to let them know that wasn't the smartest thing they've done for the day. So anyway, like I said, Anthony's West Texas Rides. Hopefully here for too long I can find a video to do some new rides. I haven't gotten to do any riding in a while, so hope y'all enjoyed this. And like I said, any other questions, y'all shoot me a message on YouTube and I'll try and get back with you. If you like the video, go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you want, and hopefully I can start bringing some more videos here pretty quick. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. Hope y'all have a good one. See ya.